Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality. While listening, you'll be exposed to inspiring, empowering, and unifying perspectives that I'm highly confident will yield stellar results in your life if you opt to try them on for size. Also, at optimistic.tv, we have officially begun releasing the first few episodes of our new late-night style, consciousness-elevating video variety talk show, Optimistic, which features live visionary art, soul share interviews, retreat guests here at the Mystic Manor, as well as live musical performances. I'm also super excited to announce that we are currently making plans to release the rest of Season 1 on my personal favorite online streaming service. So stay tuned to optimistic.tv to follow the unfolding development of this exciting Optimistic expansion, as we'll be posting more info and release dates there soon. And in the meantime, be sure to check out, of course, the first few episodes at optimistic.tv as well.
Hello, all you positive heads. On this week's P-Head Posse episode, our guest is positive head listener Shannon Boyer. Shannon is a lightworker and intuitive coach who helps people connect to their intuitive gifts, their non-physical support team, and build momentum towards the life they want to live. Hi, Shannon. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so awesome to have you here. We've known each other for a little while now, and you've been in the positive head world for a while as well. When did you start listening to the show?
It was probably around the middle of 2018, because it was right before you launched your Inner Bloom podcast. Yeah. And that was like the time when I was going through my own spiritual awakening. I was just barely opening up to the woo.
Yeah. Were you intuitive before that and just like closed off to it, or?
Well, the thing is, I feel like we're all intuitive. Like we all have access to these gifts. Personally, I really wasn't that open. Like I'd always felt a connection to something more divine in my life, but I had never really dived in until the end of 2018.
Yeah. And what caused you to do that? Was there something, was it like an external shift or something inside that just like clicked?
So I knew I had wanted to start an entrepreneurial business back before I even had my daughter. So I had my daughter in 2016, and by 2018, I was like so sick of the day job, and I was going to workshops and stuff. And there was this one business coach whose event I went to, and she called me a leader, and that freaked me out. And so like I went into this downward spiral. Like being seen was triggering, being heard and like being acknowledged for who I truly was triggered me. And like when I started climbing out of that tailspin, I was like, I need to figure out like who I actually am, because being seen in that way was just, it blew my mind, and it shattered my whole mask of this meek little wallflower that, doesn't go into crowds or doesn't stand out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so interesting. That leader was the trigger for you. Mm-hmm. And how do you feel? Go ahead.
I like dove straight into woo woo, and then I found the Positive Head podcast, and I found the Inner Bloom podcast, and it took off from there.
Yeah, it's been, you popped into our world, Ambrosia and I's world, so strongly. It's so interesting how this happens, and I know it happens to Brandon all the time too on this podcast. It's just like suddenly people will just pop in so intensely, and it's like because people are just being drawn in, like moths to a flame, to these communities and to where everyone is congregating. And I remember when you popped in so strongly into our world, and it's been so cool to get to know you, over this, what has it been, a year? More than a year. It's been more than a year.
Yeah, more than a year now.
More than a year. Super cool. And it's been really cool to watch you like blossom in your gifts and really like even more embrace, what comes naturally to you, and as well as like what you love to help people do. So we're definitely going to dive into that. But I would love to, start with just a little bit more of your background, like your story, maybe, how you grew up, or just what your journey to this point has been like before being called a leader and triggered.
Of course. So I grew up pretty sheltered. I had a very happy childhood. And I think that was really all a big part in how I perceived myself, because I always sheltered myself as well. And it was when I was 19 going on 20, I moved 700 miles away from my parents' house to be with my boyfriend that I met on the internet. And that was like the biggest leap I had ever taken. But I really felt that that's what I was being called to do. And so it was like I had no job experience. I had $400 to my name, and I was going to go rent a room at his sister's house. And I wouldn't trade that experience for the world. It was the first thing that really opened my eyes to like how powerfully I could affect my own life. And I think from there, it was just like little stepping stones into forming really who I was and the power that I hold. And I intuitively, like I said, I always felt like there was some sort of divine intervention in my life. I always felt when I felt lost, that something would call me to a certain place or to a certain friend, and I would find exactly what I needed to feel connected again.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. I love that idea too. Like always, like knowing that you'll always find what you need, and you'll always be pulled in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
go ahead.
So like after I found Inner Bloom and wanted to start diving into my spiritual gifts, I actually found a mentor. And in finding this mentor, her name is Cami Orange. She's actually the one that taught me, like the coaching modalities that I do. And she pretty much blew my world wide open. I was like, oh, this is exactly what I was asking for. And I realized in going into all of this that how much support I have always had all along.
Like non-physically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of my entourage members, that's what I call the non-physical support team. Do you want me to tell you a little bit about it?
Yeah, I would love it. Yeah, this is so cool, you guys. Go ahead.
Okay. So in your non-physical support team, we have 5 different categories. There's animals, ancestors, higher beings, mystical creatures, and angels. And so one of the higher beings in my entourage is a sun god, a sun deity. And the second that I heard that as a client, I was actually doing a session with another coach, and I was playing the client. And the moment that I heard that I had a sun god in my entourage, I had a flashback to little 5 or 6 year old me playing in my parents' backyard, dancing and singing around on a partly cloudy day. And it was so funny because I was singing and dancing, and every time I would start singing, the sun would peek out from out of the clouds. And every time I would stop, it would cover and darken again. And I was like, oh, my voice controls the sun.
Wow.
And it was just so funny to have that come back so strongly and be like, wow, this support has always been there.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so cool. Yeah, I love. Let's talk about that a little bit, like the entourage and like more of the work you do. So, because this is a question that so many people like. First of all, just what you said before about realizing you had support all along. I mean, I feel like that's one of the biggest things for people who. There's so many people who feel so alone, you know, they just feel so disconnected and like they have no one. And, you know, I think one of the most beautiful things about waking up or whatever you want to call it is realizing that this whole time, like you haven't been alone, even if you've been physically alone or physically like in an abandoned situation or something like that, that actually there's always been support for you and that, you know, you've always been taken care of in a way, even if you couldn't see it. And so I feel like that's why people are fascinated with like their guides and who their guides are and who this non-physical support team is. It's like very fascinating to people. And so you call them like the entourage, right? And I think that's just such a cool way to think about it. It's like your posse that like rolls with you and like, and I was wondering, could you like tell me or like, give me like a mini entourage reading. Tell me someone who's in my team.
Yeah. So let me see. So I know before I've seen a bear in your entourage.
Which was crazy because I have that came up so many times before you said that. Bears.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like a total forest vibe from your entourage. So I actually see trees and I see like these elven people actually.
Cool. Like fairies or elves, like little.
Like more along the lines of Legolas.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Wow. So cool.
So yeah, they probably wouldn't laugh about it as much as I am.
I was gonna say, what's their vibe about?
They're very like peaceful and regal, and I feel like they're holding space for the reverent kind of magic that you can bring in. And that's so funny. On your video, I can see a little thing, a beam of light that wasn't there before.
It's so crazy. This keeps happening. Yeah, it's like it almost looks like that crystal labradorite. You know, it's like or like
it's all like reflecting. How funny!
So cool. Yeah.
I'm just making sure that wasn't just me.
No, it wasn't. I mean, maybe it's connected though. It's very, you guys can't see it, but it's very like beautiful and like iridescent and rainbowy looking.
Yeah. It's like an inclusion on a crystal.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
A little rainbow.
So cool.
But anyway, your elves, if you want to talk to them, you can hold a meeting in your head.
Okay.
What I actually like to do, and what I feel would be really effective for you is if you closed your eyes and envisioned that you were in the middle of your forest. You've got your bear over there, you've got your elves, and they just come for a meeting with you.
Okay. Okay, cool.
And yeah, I feel like they would actually have a lot to teach you about nature and magic and how those two work together.
Ooh, nature and magic. Okay, I love that. I've been feeling super connected to nature lately, like almost intoxicatingly. Like every time I go out into nature these days, I just feel so like normally I'm listening to something and I'm like kind of just like, I love nature, but I just feel like I haven't seen it in this way before. I feel like I'm seeing it in a whole new way. And it's like little magical moments where happen now where I'm like walking and I'll think of something and the tree with all these new flowers on it will just like blow on me and the flower petals will just fall on all of my head. And like, it's just at these perfect times. And it just feels really, I feel a whole new relationship coming on with nature. So
yeah.
That resonates with me for sure. Okay. Gonna have my meeting with my elves and my bears.
That's your homework.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. What other things have you seen in people's entourages that maybe like people wouldn't expect?
So I see a lot of dragons.
Ooh, cool.
Yes. Archangel Michael is like, he pops up everywhere.
Yeah. He's busy.
Yeah. One thing that people don't really know is there's like practical angels for pretty much everything. So you could ask, okay, your entourage is with you 24/7. And if there's anybody that's not in your entourage that you want in your entourage, you can ask for them. So I have so many angels that help me just like with the mundane tasks of life, like cleaning and cooking and getting green lights at traffic lights. Yeah. And parking. You can have parking angels too.
Oh yeah. My fiance swears, but he always says like his grandma like always got great parking, and every time he gets such great parking spots, and yeah, he has a parking.
Oh, she passed it on to him.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. It's a generational parking karma.
Yeah, totally. Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize you could call people into your entourage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So I've done sessions, like I do entourage sessions for myself as well. But a lot of times I'll just, sit down with the intention of connecting, and sometimes it's somebody new. Sometimes like that's how I met two of my dragons. And it's fascinating because it's like things that I could never have made up on my own. and that's kind of how you know.
Yeah.
And just being able to relate to other people with the energies that they already feel is around them and supporting them. Being like me being able to validate for them and them being able to validate for me is just magical. I love it so much.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a few minutes to share 2 exciting new ways we can co-create and grow together. It's actually going to take about 3 minutes to explain, so if you'd like to skip ahead, now's your chance. One of the ways, for the first time ever, I'm going to be offering a few select slots for life activation sessions where I go deep with a few select people one-on-one to explore how we can put our heads together to upgrade you to the next greatest and grandest version of yourself. Now, I don't claim to have all the answers, but I have gotten pretty good at manifesting magic in my own life. And I feel strongly that I can help you do the same in your own life if you are truly committed to working with me and following my lead to help you get there. Honestly, this is not something I see myself doing for years to come. So if you want to take advantage of this window to work with me directly and discuss the possibilities of having one-on-one weekly sessions with me, head over to positivehead.com/upgrade and fill out the short form to set up a free life activation exploration call with me to discuss the possibilities. The other way is you can now grow and play alongside me and a plethora of other holistic healers, powerful coaches, and wonderful workshop facilitators via the new virtual community we have created over at optimistic.tv. Unlike the in-person retreats we've hosted over the last year here at the Mystic Manor, our new online retreat membership program is super accessible to each and every one of you from both a physical location and a cost perspective standpoint. We actually allow you to join for free and then pay what you can for our online retreat membership program, which conveniently connects you from the comfort of your home online via Zoom with our PlayShop facilitators, as well as the other PlayShop attendees from all over the world. Our online retreat PlayShops are available to you twice a day, 7 days a week, and we let you pay what you can because we don't want money to get in the way of you co-creating with us. Our ever-expanding stellar offerings include live-streamed play shops on Zoom, such as authentic relating, guided meditations, breathwork, with influencer Q&As, soul expression, sensual awakening, tarot, magic movement, sound healing, and much, much more. And we're going to be constantly collaborating with new healers and facilitators so that you continue to regularly get fresh play shop offerings, many of who are SoulShare guests on this podcast. So if you want to deepen your transformational journey with us beyond this podcast, just head over to optimistic.tv to sign up and pay what you can to join in all the play shop magic with us. It's even free right out of the gate. And otherwise, see you soon on Zoom here at the Mystic Manor. Here we grow.
Yeah, totally. It's really awesome what you do. You totally, like, I've seen you work and you just light up when you do what you do. It's so, I love seeing people that are just like in their element, you know what I mean? And when you're working with people, you can feel that coming from you. So besides the entourage stuff, what else comes up in these like alignment sessions? That's what it's called, right? Purpose.
So I have the spiritual gift sessions.
Okay.
And that's where we like dive into what your spiritual gifts are. We talk about like how they show up in your life and how you can develop them. That's like one of my favorite parts. Is figuring out like action steps that you can actually take to develop your gifts. The entourage sessions are separate, and then and we talk a little bit more about what they're there to support you in, like even where they are in your aura. So like we talk. Mm-hmm, yeah. Cause usually, I mean, some entourage members roam around, but a lot of times they're positioned in very specific places around you. And it's very symbolic. Like, you know how there's like the left and the right side, there's above and below. An entourage member that's like in front of you will be pulling you towards a certain energy. Entourage members that are behind you are kind of like providing more of a supportive energy. Like, I got your back.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Cool. I love that. Yeah. I didn't even think about that or know that like they would show up in different places. That's super cool.
And their proximity to you and their relative size as well. Like, even though in the energetic side of things, they might even overlap.
Yeah.
But their position and their size and proximity to you, it shifts the energy just that much. So like I have a beaver that stays at my feet. And if you look up, the symbolism for the beaver, it's like creativity and production and all of this stuff. And so I always make sure I pay attention to her before I start my work. Like just to kind of tap into that energy, that industrious activity.
Yeah. Busy beaver.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. That's super cool. Wow. It's like you have like an energetic pet with you all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's one of the things that people love, actually, is because with your ancestors, with people in your entourage and with angels, it's a little bit weird to imagine snuggling up to them. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you have a dog, if you have one of your pets that has passed on in your entourage, it's like easy just to invite them over for a energetic snuggle, and they can support you in that way. They're absolutely thrilled to do that for you.
Oh, I love that idea, especially with the pets, because we're all, oh my gosh, my dog has been with me for 12 years now, and I just like preparing for that day. But I've already, I've been like told through different, like channels and all kinds of things that like my dog is actually like made the, like is a guide for me and like actually came here to like be my companion in this lifetime. And I love that thought. I love that idea. And also I got this image while you were talking about how like proximity of different, your entourage and like where they're located. I got this image of like you are like a planet and you have like what do you call it, like an orbit. You have like different things in your orbit that are kind of just always like hovering around you in different proximities. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how different people's entourages like show up differently as well. So my mentor at one time, I also had a dream of owning a fiber mill to turn sheep's wool into yarn. That was before all this. And so when she tapped into my energy, she could actually feel the energy of my entourage moving with me as if I was at the front of a flock of sheep. And so it was just kind of, fluid and everybody moving together so uniformly. And other people have entourages that are super spaced out and very still. Yeah, it just depends on what you need at that moment and what kind of mission you're serving. Like the bigger your mission, the more support you're going to have. Just like if you have a small business, when you grow it, you're going to need a team.
Yeah, love that. That's so comforting to know too. Like the bigger the task you take on, like the more support you're going to have to help you make it happen.
Yep.
Always being supported. So cool. Cool. So what else are you working on right now? I know you have like a couple of different things going on.
Yeah. So in my coaching work, I actually also have alignment sessions, and that's kind of where we get to the bottom of what's blocking you, including, generational blocks, dark energies that are in your field, past lives, karma, but also just energetic imbalances like within your energy body, including like your thoughts, your mindset, your emotions that are holding you back, the parts of your body that aren't feeling supported or safe. So like if you're chronically thirsty, that actually affects so much of what you're able to accomplish, right? And so I've been doing that work, but recently I have also found shadow integration work, and that is so exciting for me. Like I've been doing all of this positive affirmations, manifesting, all of this light work, thinking that, I'm not going to go into shadow. That's just too dark. Yeah. That's just too scary. And even though in my work, like I've gone through powerful transformations and really worked through some tough emotional things, finding shadow integration was like, it just clicked. And I was like, oh, I get it now. Yeah. I realized how much is still hidden underneath in the subconscious that I hadn't pulled out yet. And so I'm working through that now. And I'm telling people, come on and do it with me. Yeah. So I'm actually starting a group coaching program called Unity. And it's just that. It's about uniting the shadow integration, the subconscious work with the conscious work, the personal development, the light working, excuse me. And I even do, I have light language activations that's also going to be a part of this coaching program. So, yes. So it's like subconscious work, conscious work, and energy work, all rolled into one coaching program. And I am so excited to kick it off. It's going to be ongoing on a monthly basis. So it's like all you have to do is sign up on Patreon on my Unity tier. And I'll get you the link for that.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes.
Okay. And then, every week we're going to be meeting, and depending on the energy of the class and the energy of the collective, we're either going to work on a shadow work tool or we're going to work on something else to get us where we're going. And this is like for anybody like me who is into all of these things, personal development. Like I would call myself a personal development junkie. And anybody who's into this intuitive work, that is still finding that something is missing, or that like they keep thinking this pattern keeps coming up, but I thought I healed that.
Yeah.
This program is for you.
Yeah.
Because we're going to dive right into that.
Perfect. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that's so many people too. I know so many people, including myself, actually I had something like that come up this week where I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so sick of this. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's been 6 years or more of like, Lord. And we're hitting that point in society too, where it's like, we cannot carry these things anymore. There's no time. There's no energy for this. So this coaching program that you're talking about is perfect. Like if you are feeling the weight of these things that you're carrying around and it's just, you're so sick of it and you know you need to move forward, but you don't know how, this sounds like a good program for you to explore. So yeah, that's great. And it's great to have a community too, like an online community that's doing work together. I always find that like community magnifies the healing work that's being done.
Yeah, I agree. It totally, for me, like being witnessed and having that other people hold space to witness that, it like amplifies it just so much.
Totally. Beautiful. So we'll put that link in the show notes to, if anyone listening wants to join Shannon and do some shadow work. And yeah, beautiful. Gosh, it's so awesome. You know, I just like to thank everybody who comes on here for just like doing what they're doing. You know, it's like we're in we're recording this right now on what day is it of the quarantine? Is it like week 2?
Oh gosh. For me, it's been longer. I'm in California. And yeah, it's been, gosh, I would say 4 weeks for me.
Yeah. It's been, I think it's been, you've been in quarantine for a little while. Yeah. So it's like, it's different for everybody, but we're just to give you like an update, because this will be coming out probably in like a month or 3 weeks. It's been about this long and it's definitely a roller coaster right now. But I think, you know, the biggest thing for everyone is that they're really having to confront some stuff, you know, and it's scary for some people. And I keep getting the feeling like if you've been doing the work, it's easier for you because it's not like this big slap in the face. It's like something you've already been working on. You already know it's coming. But for others, it's crazy. And sometimes we need support to process our emotions so that we can hold space for the other people that are just starting this work, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's funny because one of my friends sent me something this morning. It was an article about like, don't give in to the productivity hype that everyone's talking about. Yeah. Because it's like, you know, take care of your body first. Take care of your emotions and your household. Make sure like you have what you need. Make sure your body is supported. Like you have food, you have a plan for if anything happens, like you have a plan to turn to. And I just feel like that's so important before jumping into this work, actually, because you want to make sure that you are fully supported and like even give yourself time to grieve and mourn the normal that isn't there anymore, you know, before you start doing like busy work. Don't use this as an excuse to to not grieve, because it's huge.
Totally. That's really good advice. Yeah. It's like the busy work. It's another way to like run away or distract, which is what we've been doing this whole time anyway, which is why we're in this situation, because we haven't been willing to confront ourselves or look in the mirror. And it's like, it's just another way to keep running away. And eventually, you know, we're going to have to deal with it.
And now we're all stuck indoors to do some inner work.
To do some inner work. I love that. Indoors and inner work. Beautiful. Well, Shannon, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else that you feel really called to share, or something that you feel like is really important for other light workers listening to this to know or remember right now, besides that advice you just shared?
I honestly truly feel that this time and the things that are going on in the world right now are calling us to step up into leadership and to step up into creating the future that we want to see. The things that were in place that seemed unchangeable have changed, and we have the power and the responsibility of deciding what that will change into. And I I just want to take people on this journey with me to create the future that we truly see in our hearts.
Yeah, I love that. So exciting. Building the new future. Awesome. Shannon, where can people find you?
So I have a Facebook page. It's Shannon Boyer, Intuitive Coach. I also have a website at shannonboyer.com.
Beautiful. Well, we will put all of the links in the show notes, including the coaching program, the Patreon, all of that. And yeah, if you're listening to this and you feel called, definitely reach out to Shannon. She's such a bright light. I'm sure you can hear. She's always so smiley and just like such a ray of sunshine, and so great to be around her. And yeah, reach out to her. Shannon, thank you so much for coming on. And until
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And until next time, as Brandon always says, journey well. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And if you're feeling the call to come for a week retreat style Mystic Manor immersion, remember to go now and book your time to speak with me directly about stepping into the optimistic vortex at calendly.com/talk with Brandon while there are still spots left. Otherwise, I look forward to co-creating magic with you at the Mystic Manor.